Hi, David Flowers here from David Flowers Teletherapy. I'm Dave. I work mostly with couples, almost, not quite, but almost exclusively with couples. And today I want to talk to you about why it is that that vacation that you're hoping you're going to go on with your spouse and then come back from vacation and all your problems are going to be gone and everything will be better isn't going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. I can almost assure you of that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that and why it is and what needs to happen instead, probably. So this is pretty common that one partner or sometimes both partners will notice there's a problem in the relationship and will one partner maybe will be thinking, hey, we need to go to therapy or we need to, find some, direct way of addressing what's going on. And maybe the other partner will say, you know what, as long as we're not home, I mean, we do really well when we're away. So why don't we book a trip to, whatever, go out of town this weekend or whatever it is. And, things will be better. And then, when we get back, everything will be good. And so they'll go out of town, they'll do really well. And then they come back home and, maybe it lasts for a day or couple days. I'm guessing that by the end of the evening, when they get home, they've probably already seen their problems come back. Probably by the end of the same day. That's kind of the way it normally goes. So I want to tell you, there's almost no way that can work, and the reason it can't work is because the things that are wrong in your relationship are deeper than that. Right? It's not just that you're under stress. It's not just that you have a lot going on. Now, when you're under stress and you have a lot going on, of course, you're probably going to notice that things get worse than usual. I'm not discounting that. But usually there are underlying problems in a relationship. There are fundamental issues with communication, fundamental issues with one or both partners not feeling listened to, heard, understood, validated, appreciated, respected, all kinds of those types of things going on. And going away on vacation lowers the level of stress. It gets you away from your normal responsibilities and allows you just to have fun and kick back and enjoy yourselves. And that's great. And I think every couple ought to be prioritizing that. As couples, we need to get away. We need to sort of get out from under the daily stresses. I'm a huge fan of that. Definitely every couple needs that. But that's a way to sort of make sure that you remain connected. It is not a way to address long-standing fundamental issues in your relationship. So what do you do instead? You're probably going to have to get some help. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean therapy, right? I realize that there are people in the world who are just never going to be open to going and meeting with a couples counselor. And you know what? If that's the way you are, if that's kind of your thing, I'm not critical of that. Okay, some people are going to be more open to that than other people, and that's fine. But what isn't fine is just not addressing the issues in the relationship. If you are the person saying, hey, let's just go out of town and things will get better, if you're doing that, that means you're probably acknowledging that there are some issues going on and some issues that need to be addressed, at least, in maybe in your opinion, by getting out of town for a while. I'm telling you, getting out of town isn't going to work. I mean, it might while you're gone, but you'll come back, you'll have the same issues. Why? Like I said, because these issues are coming out of probably really long-standing patterns of communication, miscommunication, lack of connection, lack of understanding, all kinds of things that are going on under the surface. And those are patterns that, first of all, have to be clearly seen, pointed out and identified for what they are. And second of all, once you see them and understand what they are and where they're coming from, then they have to be addressed with specific interventions that can give you practical alternatives to substitute what isn't working for what we know does work. Okay? So that's what really has to happen there. So, like I said, if that's not going to happen in therapy, if you're not going to go and see a skilled, and I do want to address skilled person who is specialized in couples counseling and has special postgraduate training in couples counseling, whether it's me or anybody else, don't forget that part. Okay, there are reasons why it's absolutely critical that you not just go to any old counselor, kind of run-of-the-mill counselor for your couple's issues. And I know I talked about that before. I don't want to take the time to go into it on this video, but if you're not going to go and see a quality, skilled, postgraduate trained couples counselor to address your issues, and that's not your thing, all right, that's fine. The question is, what are you going to do? Okay, because like I was saying, if you at least feel that you need to go out of town to fix your issues, and if I'm saying that's not going to work, and it won't, so go ahead and go out of town, have a good time. When you get back, the issues will be pretty much right where you left them. And then the question is, all right, that didn't work. You don't want to go to a therapist, so what are you going to do? Okay, so a number of suggestions. There's people sometimes are comfortable going to maybe talk to a religious leader, to a pastor, or a rabbi, whoever the leader is in your tradition. I typically don't recommend that. I was a pastor for 22 years and was a licensed counselor the whole time, but most pastors do quite a bit of counseling, and so get some pretty good experience with a lot of issues, even some types of couples issues. But if you have these long-standing patterns of sort of gridlock, perpetual problems, unless your religious leader has a specific background in counseling, and moreover, actual sort of postgraduate training in couples counseling specifically, there's a good chance that might fall flat as well. So what might you do otherwise? You could go out and buy a book. One of the best and most popular books on relationships and how to put things together is by Dr. John Gottman, and it's called 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work. And actually, you know what? It's actually the exercises and interventions and the program that I actually take couples through when they come to see me for counseling. Which brings to mind, I'm recommending that if you don't want to do therapy, maybe you might buy that book. But that brings to mind what the limitations are of that too. Tens of thousands of couples will find that they'll buy that book, they'll read through it, they'll try and implement the exercises, and then a few months later, they'll just realize, we just haven't made any progress. And the reason for that is because there's a huge difference between reading in a book, this is what you need to do, and actually being able to work through the exercises and confront the question of the day, the thing that is going to keep you from making progress. And that question is, what is happening with these barriers that keep arising between us every time we try, and not every time, but most of the time when we try to apply some of these exercises? And indeed, that's what I spend more time doing in therapy than just about anything else. Teaching these interventions is easy. Being able to sort of find out what couples need, right? What they need to learn and be taught, and what they need to, work through to learn interventions is fairly straightforward. The tricky part, the question is, what is going on with the obstacles that keep rising up and presenting themselves between the two of you when you're trying to use these interventions? Something keeps derailing you, preventing these new things from working. What is that thing? And that's where the real work of therapy a lot of times happens, is helping couples work through that. Maybe you have a mentor couple in your life, a couple that really is doing well. They've learned some really great lessons about relationships. Maybe they've been through some similar struggles themselves and have resolved them somehow, either by going to therapy or, again, by following some other kind of system or doing something else. And you can maybe start spending time with that couple and sharing some of your struggles. And probably more than any other non-therapy intervention I can think of, I think that would have the greatest chance of success. Connecting with another couple who has had some issues and worked them through, people that you have respect for, that you will allow yourself to be open to and respect, and being able to honor the guidance that they might give you. Okay, so what I've suggested is, Gottman's 7 Principles book or some other book on relationships. You could do that besides therapy. You could, talk to, another couple. That's the one that I'm really saying I think could have real potential there. You could go and see like a religious leader if you're more comfortable with that, and I've kind of given you my sense of what the downsides there might be. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're, the type that acknowledges, you see that there's some issues in the relationship that need to be addressed, and you don't want to do therapy, I'm suggesting that your best bet might be to connect with another couple that you're close to and respect, and just be open with them and allow them to tell you how they worked through some things, and see if that'll help you make some progress. If that doesn't work either, I mean, of course I'm biased, right? But, as far as I'm concerned, if that doesn't work either, you might be back to considering therapy at that point. Not everybody has close relationships with a couple that can mentor them and work with them. So, or maybe you try it and it doesn't work. So, my point here isn't, the specific thing necessarily that you have to do in order to fix the problem. The thing I want to communicate today is that simply going away, taking a vacation, or getting out of Dodge for a little while almost certainly isn't going to fix things. It will do some good, allow you to connect a little more, hopefully. Like I said, the problems will be there when you get back. And not if, but probably when that happens, then the question is, what are you going to do now? My suggestion then is either go to therapy to a qualified, marriage counselor, and we've discussed that, or find a mentor couple that you can meet with and be open to allow you you will allow them to guide you through it. Okay. So just wanted to let you know, I see that a lot, and I just want to encourage people to not have unreasonable expectations for, going away. It just isn't usually going to fix the problem. Okay. So, this is Dave, and I'm with David Flowers Teletherapy, and I would love to hear from you if you want to give me a call and see if maybe we might be a good fit to work together. As usual, I invite you to follow me on my social media channels on both Facebook Business and Instagram at DF Couples Therapy. You could follow me there. You can go to my website, davidflowerstherapy.com. All my social media links are there, including the link for YouTube. I would encourage you to, check that out and maybe follow me there on YouTube so you can be tuned in and subscribe to all the videos that I'll be continuing to release that I hope can be helpful for you. Okay? Thanks a lot. And I know I missed Wednesday this week. I'll hope to be back on track next Wednesday at 2 o'clock. See you soon.